Welcome to Real Vision. My name is Santiago Velez, and I'm the R&D and co-founder of Block Digital Corporation. And I'm excited to present to you Mr. Spencer Randall today of Crypto EQ. Welcome, Spencer.
Thank you for having me on, Santiago. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So we actually met a few months ago through a mutual colleague, and we had a great discussion. I'm recollecting now all the things we talked about in terms of the crypto markets. And at the time, I didn't realize that you and your colleagues were working on this project called Crypto EQ. So before we get into that, tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been into the space, and what your passions are essentially around digital assets.
Yeah, I'm an engineer turned entrepreneur, so we have that in common, Santiago. I started off in industry as a mechanical engineer, so I'm a mechanical engineer by trade, earned my Bachelor of Science in Engineering, went into industry for 5 years, and then fell down the Bitcoin rabbit hole. So I started reading about Bitcoin in early 2017. And I think like a lot of folks that are diving into the industry, once I started, I really couldn't stop. And I found myself reading about Bitcoin hours and hours every day. And very quickly, I'd accumulated like 50 different white papers as I started to dive into the other crypto assets. And I really felt like I was reigniting that curiosity that I had when I was at university. And so the deeper I got into crypto and the space, the more I realized that I didn't know everything there was to know about Bitcoin and things of that nature. So yeah, very quickly, I realized we needed to build a community. And so that's how we got started at Crypto EQ, was building community around conversations and discussions on digital assets.
Yeah, so you came into the space around 2016, 2017, is that correct?
Yeah, early 2017.
Yeah, and so I find that interesting with a lot of people that I talk to in the space now that are building businesses around either information or promotion or development, that the 2017 cycle, even though it was kind of this big bull run and it popped, it had a certain stickiness to it, which kept a lot of people who were very passionate around and kind of changed their life direction, myself included, yourself. And I think this is a key attribute of the crypto or digital asset space, is this stickiness in the community. So can you tell us a little about what you consider community and why is that important to digital assets?
Yeah, I think the catalyst for us was we were all learning in a silo, and we saw a lot of value in breaking down those barriers in communication, and whether it's virtual or in person, rallying around this thing we were excited about. So I think that we're all a collection of our own life experiences, and everyone brings a certain range and diversity to a conversation. And what way to learn faster than to put a lot of smart people, in a virtual or in-person space and have ideas and thoughts collide. So that's the value I think the community brings to crypto is faster collisions, more innovation, more discovery, more learning.
That's one of the things that really differentiates the crypto market from traditional asset classes. Is in traditional asset classes, there's a lot of information asymmetry, like access to very important pieces of information, typically are reserved for the top tier investors and those that really, as a professional community, can disseminate that information within their network. Whereas with digital assets, literally anybody can join a social network, a Reddit or a Telegram or Twitter, and quickly identify who some of the network leaders are, the thought leaders of each blockchain or each project, and come up to speed in a way that I think in traditional asset classes wasn't really possible. So I think what you guys are building is very interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about Crypto EQ and how it takes advantage of that effect?
Yeah, so we built Crypto EQ to serve as this North Star for digital assets. We really focus on research and market insights. So we've all the partners combined, 3 decades of experience trading and investing in crypto. We've all felt that pain firsthand of trying to do your own diligence on a project, and how very quickly you could have 20 sources open as you try and learn about one digital asset. So the idea is, how do you distill all that down and make it easy for the end user that wants to get started and learn about any given digital asset? So we built the Crypto EQ to serve as this North Star for our industry, and really a public good for people all around the world to learn about crypto faster and responsibly.
Yeah, and that's a key. I guess that last word you used, responsibly, is a key word, because I think one of the lessons learned from 2017 was there was a lot of noise. There was a lot of disinformation or low value information. And it was difficult to find the signal where you could either establish a good investment position or something that would be kind of persistent, that would maintain for a horizon that as an investor you might be interested in, longer than a speculative pump, for example. So how does Crypto EQ do that? What are the specific mechanics of how you identify a project and then kind of construct a set of information or facts for your clients?
Yeah, so there's three pillars to what we do and to our market research. There's the fundamental analysis, so really the long-term quality of a digital asset. There's the trading signals, so helping folks identify good entry and exit points on positions in digital assets. And then sentiment analysis, or quantifying emotion around any given digital asset. So each of those three systems operate independently, but are intended to work together to produce the best end result. I think fundamentals is a great place to start, because I think a lot of the audience has an investor mindset. So there we have 10 core categories, and we break it down, things like team, the governance model, the tokenomics, and we look at these common points of reference across all of the digital assets that we list. So there's this disciplined, standardized approach to each crypto asset, but there's enough freedom to provide the nuance needed to evaluate the difference between something like an Ethereum and a Bitcoin, two dramatically different digital assets. So there's a good amount of nuance, but also a standard framework so that every user has a common point of reference.
Excellent. One of the biggest tragedies, I think, in this space is that the mass media kind of describes it as cryptocurrencies, which is an extreme misnomer. And, if you look at really the narratives that drive each one of these digital assets, they're vastly different. And the things that drive the communities behind them and what people are building on top of them are extremely different than just categorize them as cryptocurrencies. So tell us a little bit about how you view, say, things like Bitcoin as a differentiator to Ethereum, as a sample of how your approach, your systematic approach, differentiates those two things.
Yeah. So when we look at Bitcoin, we're looking at the market leader as a digital store of value. With Ethereum, we need to provide nuance around Ethereum really being the market leader in general purpose smart contracts. So right off the bat, one thing that makes those analyses different would be all of the competitors to Ethereum in the general purpose smart contract space.
Right. So it seems like as category leaders, it's almost like if you had a large cap index, you now have small caps, you might have growth. You almost started creating these category classes the same way equities have their category classes, and they then differentiate themselves in terms of what problem they might trying to be solve, plus also kind of their risk return profiles, right? As you kind of go out the risk curve on these lower market cap digital assets, you understand that the returns are higher, but maybe the fundamentals aren't quite as firm. Can you talk a little bit about that process, maybe how Crypto EQ handles that?
Yeah, we like to identify a market leader in each, what I like to call bucket of digital assets. So if you're talking about a cryptocurrency digital store of value, it's Bitcoin. If you're talking about general purpose smart contracts, it's Ethereum. If you're talking about an Oracle solution where there's less competition so far, we're looking at Chainlink as the market leader there. The list goes on and on. For privacy use case, we'd be looking at Monero as the market leader with their tried and true proven technology. It's got a lot of back history. The list goes on, but we try and the theme, the pattern is let's identify the market leader with the most history. Let's analyze that in depth. Let's rate that in our framework, and then let's iterate as all of these thousands of new projects come out of the woodwork.
Hey, if you like this clip, be sure to check out the full interview and more only on realvision.com/crypto. It's 100% free. Sign up now.